It's Party Marty Mitchell on Country 107.3 WRWD, and time for another edition of Behind the Law with Dennis Vetrano. Hello, Dennis.
Hey, Marty. How are you?
Oh, very good. Dennis, we talk a lot about what's going on in court and the victim's side, but what about on the judge's side? How can a judge determine what is true, what is false? Someone can make it up just because they want to prove a point or get back at someone, but how does a judge know?
Yeah, and I mean that's a really good question, because a lot of times, you've all heard the stories 100 times over. My spouse walked into court, made up a bunch of garbage and swore to the judge X and Y and Z, and none of it's true, and now I have an order of protection and I can't see my kids. In those sorts of circumstances, I think you're really happy in those circumstances when you have an experienced, knowledgeable judge, because then they know, hey, wait a second. The best way, the most important tool that I have to determine whether or not people are being truthful or to ferret out the truth in the case is really to have some sort of hearing, to elicit some testimony, to review some of the evidence, at least some of it, if not all of it. And at any time, a judge, they're running the show. They can do that. So somebody comes in and says, I need an order for supervised visits, or I want an order of protection kicking somebody out of the house. The judge can say, okay, we're going to come back here in a week, and we're going to hear some testimony. You're going to testify. The other side's going to testify, and we're going to see any proof of any documentary evidence, some medical records, those sorts of things, and then they can make a determination. So it's really up to the judge, and they don't have a crystal ball, they don't have a truth serum, but they can elicit testimony and do their best to determine who's being truthful or not. And
a judge who cares, as opposed to one who just, let's move on with it, come on.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we all know how busy the judges are, but you got to care about these people you're presiding over their cases. You got to care about their lives. You've got to look at it like it's my kid, it's my sister, it's my house, it's my money. When you look at it that way, then you'll realize the importance of these cases, and I think the vast majority of our judges do. But you're always going to get those one or two that are just not going to take the time.
Dennis, you are full of knowledge. I love listening to what you have to say. Dennis, of course, you want to contact Dennis, you can do so by
drvetranolaw.com. That's drvetranolaw.com.